Welcome to the Vol Bros. My name is Evan. This is my brother Simo Hitmo. And it's actually funny. That's the very first comment we got tonight by JL. Welcome, JL. Good to have you. Uh, Obviously, Christian Moore had a huge weekend. The Lady Vols had a huge weekend, taking a series from LSU in Knoxville. Always a good weekend when you can beat LSU in softball. Let's see. Caleb Longcare just commented. He said, hi, Vol Bros. Think Kim Caldwell needs these players. Oh, he's raiding the portal right now. That's what I'm talking about. Hey, that sounds good to me, man. I trust you. So huge weekend for the Tennessee Volunteers, Lady Vols, and anytime you can go on the road in the SEC to the number 3 team in America and win a series, that's a really good weekend. That is a really good weekend. And Papa Jason, ain't gonna lie, the last 3 innings today got me a little nervous. A little bit, especially when they hit back-to-back home runs in the bottom of the ninth. That was not ever really what you want. But man, oh man, one thing. Well, I'll save that. Rustin, what was your takeaways from what you saw this weekend?
Christian Moore. It's a shame that he's having this season in the same year that Charlie Condon and Jack Caglione are having the seasons they are, because in most years he'd be a front runner for National Player of the Year. On the weekend, 9 of 15 with 9 RBIs and 4 home runs. I mean, the guy just put us on his back today.
3 home runs today.
Yep. He was 4 for 5 with 6 RBIs today. Just absolutely put us on his back. The reality is, if Billy Amick doesn't make an error on Friday night, we sweep this thing.
Very much possible, yeah. If he doesn't make that error and they end up scoring that one last run that they scored, it would have been a tie game. At minimum, we would have gone into extra innings, but if we had held him out, then, it could have been a sweep. Just a tremendous weekend for Tennessee Vols. And, we had talked about a week leading up to it, and even Evan Russell mentioned it on the episode on Thursday. Kentucky is a huge park. You're not expecting to go in there and win on the long ball. And as a team, they hit like 12 or 13 home runs as a team over on the whole weekend. That's nuts. It's incredible. I mean, yesterday they go
10. We hit 10 on the weekend.
So yesterday they go back-to-back home runs to lead off the game, and then in the later on in the inning they have back-to-back doubles. It's awesome, dude.
Yeah,
incredible.
Kentucky hit 8, so for that park to be as big as it is, for both teams to combine for 18 bombs on the weekend, that was quite a bit of a offensive firepower show.
Let's see. Hitting dingers. That's Mina Lackey. She said it's a huge empty park. And Sean Holt, welcome, Sean. Good to have you. He said, what a weekend hitting dingers. And you know what? I think that this is extremely appropriate that I share my screen real quick just to remind everyone that at thevolbros.com, you can click on shop and can you see what I'm seeing, or is it just still on their website?
Still the website.
It's not updating. There we go. It just doesn't. You can go on our website and we have a brand new design. Look at that. You can get your little baby a hitting dingers onesie. How about that? Look at that. You can get all kinds of stuff with this. Pickleball paddle sets. We were watching like national pickleball tournaments today at Shane's Rib Shack as we were eating dinner. There's a nice hoodie. Look at that. Premium hoodie right there. That's what I'm talking about. T-shirts for $24.99. Crew neck sweatshirt, $29.99. Man, what a deal. Hitting dingers right there. So that is on our website. And you know what? Just because I'm just that kind of guy, I'm going to post that in the comments right now on a link to that on our YouTube and Facebook feeds. And I'll also go to Twitter and I will post that in the comments on this live stream on Twitter. So there you go to those of you watching us on Twitter, which, by the way, welcome to all of you. So obviously a huge weekend. The fact that they could go into that park and do what they did, hitting so many home runs, it's incredible. It's just absolutely incredible. Hitting Dinger said, "Ding, ding, ding." Absolutely. That's a great shirt. I think everybody, all of y'all would look really good wearing a shirt that said that on there. So we got you hooked up now. Caleb, let's see. Caleb Longcare said, and we hit the home run record this weekend. Sean Holt said, what a weekend hitting dingers. Yep, I already got that one. Bobby said, no quit in the baseballs. Absolutely. They were down, it got to be 6-2 today? And they or 7-2?
6-2.
Yeah, and they came back. It ended up 13-11. So still a whole lot of offense left. Like Sean said in those last three, or Papa J said in those last 3 innings. Papa J said we should have won the first game, but we beat ourselves, and that's a fair assessment. Brant said Vols were great. These announcers were horrible. Oh my goodness, yes, thank you. He said I get their Kentucky guys, but it wasn't a Kentucky broadcast. SEC needs to do better. Brant, I could not agree more with you, dude. It was awful having to listen to that. When Kavaris Tears hit his 2-run home run, I think it was in the 7th inning, maybe somewhere in there today.
Mm-hmm.
When the one announcer went like that when he hit the home run, I was like, dude, you can't do that, man. I mean, I get it, but you're not on Kentucky sports radio at that time. You're on the SEC network and hosted by ESPN. Like, you have to be at least mildly unbiased. And that dude wasn't. Bobby said, ain't going to lie, Kentucky ain't bad, proud of our win. Absolutely, they're not bad. They're leading the SEC, or number 1 in the SEC coming into this weekend. So we'll see what happens. Let's see. Stash Man said, love me some Coach Vitello and the base Vols. Absolutely. Absolutely. Hitting Dinger said the latest in your Paris collection for what to wear for this year. Amen, sister. Absolutely. Let's see. Caleb Longcare said, which home run record did we break this weekend? I believe Christian Moore took the lead from Blake Burke for single individual home run record in UT history.
Yeah, he did.
A fun chase right now.
It really is. Somebody likened it to Mark McGuire and Sammy Sosa that one season, and it really is kind of like that. Like, they're literally just every game going back and forth.
Yep, absolutely. JL agreed the broadcast team was horrible. Hitting Dingers agreed they weren't very good. Brant said, I love my Vols, and the passion that Tony Vitello has for this team is amazing. So much fun to root for. Absolutely. I mean, if you like offense, this is the team for you. There's no doubt. No doubt about it. Let's see here. I think that's all the comments we've had so far. So y'all tell us your thoughts on this weekend. Let's see. Caleb said, I always wish for a channel where you can watch the game without commentary and natural sound. Now, we got a little taste of that at the very beginning of this season when they were playing on, what was that channel that they were playing on?
Oh, it was awful. It was like a MLB Network Plus, and it was basically the live stream from one camera angle.
Yeah. I can't remember the name of it. But it was like nobody ever heard of it. I mean, I can't even remember what it was. If you remember it, put it in the comments for us. We'd appreciate it. Hopefully we never have to watch a game on there again.
It's the scouting service that the NCAA uses for ahead scouting that they decided to turn into a pay-per-view service. And I can't think of the name of it. But it's one camera. It's just stupid.
Brant said, did you guys catch Tony throwing shade on the cheerleading team? So I saw one tweet about that, but apparently I missed the backstory on that. I don't know what that was about.
He was asked about, and it was kind of ironic actually, but he was asked about the Kentucky dugout and how they act during the game, and he made a inference to the cheerleading squad.
Oh, gotcha. Papa J, thank you, buddy. We appreciate that very, very much. Thank you for that super chat. You're the man. He said, after baseball's talk, what do you guys think about the additions to the basketballs? Hey, that's a great question. We're going to move to that here in just a second. So that's a very good question. Caleb Lawn Care said it's a Josh Heupel offense on the baseball field. Absolutely.
Yep.
Hitting Dinger said Tennessee needs their own sports channel. I mean, that'd be cool with that. Hey, Jared remembered it. Jared, yeah, thank you, Jared.
Yeah.
It was Flow Sports. That's exactly.
Yeah. That's
I thought
what it
started with
is.
an F. Yeah. Yeah, you got it. That's exactly what it was. Yeah, and that thing was horrible. Like the video feed, like Rustin said, it was just one camera angle, just a stationary camera.
Well, again,
And
it's intended to be a scouting video. Like it was never intended to be sold for distribution. It's what the teams have to trade ahead of time before they go to their next game. And the NCAA was like, "Ooh, we can sell tickets on this," and so they started marking it up and charging for it.
let's see. JL asked, "What was up with the weird pink hats?"
It started with one guy in the Kentucky dugout. It's their version of the daddy hat. It started with one guy in the dugout. I think they said he wore it one game, and they played really well, and they told him he had to wear it from then on out. And then people in the stands saw it, and they started buying it. I will say, and Evan alluded to this Thursday night. He talked about how their fans don't really care, like they're just kind of there. There was a moment today when I watched that happen live. When they hit a home run, I think it was when they went up 8-7. Their crowd didn't really cheer. Like they were all seated. Nobody stood up. Nobody got loud. They all just kind of sat there and watched it leave. And there was a camera angle from the side where they were showing his swing. And the background behind him, you can see all the third baseline bleachers. He hits a bomb to go up 8-7, and they're all seated. Nobody stood up. And it was like, man, you would never see that in Lindsey Nelson. Like the second one of those guys hits a bomb, everybody's on their feet going nuts. It's just a weird place to play. Like it's almost like they're there like it's a Kentucky Derby. Like they're just there to observe, and they're not really there to be fans.
Well, okay, so to your point, imagine in the bottom of the ninth when they hit that second of the back-to-back home runs. That's when the place finally was like, "Hey, okay," and they started getting a little wet. Dude, Lindsey Nelson would have been going crazy when that second home run left. The team would have been going bananas. Let's see. Rebecca said, "Hey, Rebecca, good to have you." She said, "I thought the weird pink hats went along with the Let's Get Weird sign." And I love this one. She said, "Flow Sports is horrible." I love that. That's great.
They explained it on air during the Friday night game. I believe the pink hat came first, and then the Let's Get Weird thing kind of morphed off of that. And then they forced that one kid to wear the pink hat every single game. And then people in the stands started buying it and showing up in it.
Rebecca said, "The stupid Sharks were killing me."
Yeah.
So I love Rebecca's last three comments. If anybody had not seen what had happened this weekend in Lexington, and those were the three comments. Flow Sports is horrible. The weird pink hats went along with the Let's Get Weird sign, and the stupid Sharks are killing me. People have been like, "What was happening up there?" Yeah. I love that. That's great.
Let's Get Weird is a great application of what happens in Kentucky Stadium, because it is bizarre. Like some of the stuff they do, it's like y'all are stretching now. Like this doesn't even fit.
So to our point there with the fans going crazy after the back-to-back home runs, they would have been going crazy in Lindsey Nelson. Caleb said that's why Tennessee's best fan base in the world, no matter what sport we play. Somebody said it on I'm trying to remember who it was. Maybe it was Mark Nagy. I think it was Mark Nagy. He tweeted out, it was Saturday night, and Tennessee, it was like late in the game. I think it was like the 7th or 8th inning, and something happened, and Tennessee had a base hit RBI, something like that. And you could hear the crowd. You could all week long, but you could hear the Tennessee fans in the crowd on air. And whoever it was online, I think it may have been Mark Nagy. He said it sounds like a Tennessee radio broadcast.
Yep.
Like you can hear their fans in the stadium. And so kudos to Vol Nation for showing up in such a big way up in Lexington. That was awesome. That was awesome. Brant said so much lameness about that team. JL said they were trying too hard to be cool. Let's see. Bender of Strings. Welcome, Bender of Strings. Nice to have you with us. They said Flow as in Progressive Insurance. She might actually be running Flow Sports because it was not great. That broadcast was not great with
It would
at the
actually
beginning of
be
the
better
year.
if Progressive Insurance was running Flow Sports because they would probably
Potentially,
spend
yeah.
$100 on it and make it better.
Potentially. They might add a second camera. No kidding.
Yeah.
Let's see here. So to wrap up, we just jumped up to 200 viewers. Reed, appreciate you, buddy. He retweeted it for us. You the man, Reed. So just to wrap up what we talked about as far as at Kentucky, once again, anytime you go into the number 3 team in the country in their home park and you take a series and arguably maybe should have swept it, but you take a series, that's a good weekend. That is a good weekend in anybody's book. So huge weekend. Christian Moore, just good grief, just carried him this weekend. Moondrops Beauty, welcome Moondrops Beauty. Good to see you. She said, my favorite thing about this team is if they lose on Friday night, they come back on Saturday and Sunday with a vengeance. They never give up. I think that's a great point. This is not the first time they've lost on a Friday night and come back and won the series. It's actually not the first time they've lost on a Friday night and come back and won the series on the road in the SEC this year. They did it at Auburn too. So
I think they walked out Friday night knowing they should have won, that they gave that one away. And I think they showed up Saturday morning going, we're going to prove something today, because when they walked out there in the first inning and hit 2 bombs and 3 doubles, and it was like, okay, yeah, they're here.
absolutely.
They set a tone early in that game, and it just kind of carried over through the rest of the weekend. I sat there today watching that, and my son, when we were down 6-2, he looked at me and he goes, we're going to lose this. And I said, no, we got 4 at-bats left. I said, they're going to bring in Kirby right here. He's gonna slow the tide a little bit. He's gonna give us a chance to catch up, and we got bats. We're going to fight our way back in this. And literally the next inning, we're up 7-6, and Kirby's out there dealing. They've just there's something about this team. They've got a way of getting things done, and it may not be pretty, and it may not be in the timing we want, but you can never count them out.
Big Orange Vols said Vols by 50. It was close. Not quite that much this weekend, but it was close. Papa J said, you guys are probably too young to have watched Alice on TV. Flo would always say, kiss my grits. Oh, I got you. I got that reference.
Yep.
I got that. Absolutely. Caleb Lonsker said, Christian Moore couldn't miss this weekend. Absolutely. No. Dude was just raking,
he will be SEC player of the weekend.
He better be. My goodness. That last home run he hit over the left field fence, almost left center. That was just a laser. I mean,
well, the one Kavaris Tears hit over the right field wall, that thing never left this height right here. It just stayed on a line directly over the right field wall. That was, people don't understand that ball he hit. Balls don't carry like that in that field. Like, that was a monster shot.
Yeah, I mean, both of those were they just killed him. Just killed him. Lasers. I mean, it was awesome. Doug makes a really good point. Welcome, Doug. He said, couldn't understand why they kept pitching to Christian Moore. I mean, that's a fair point, Doug. Especially when he hit that 3-run bomb at the end, because he'd already hit 2 home runs on the day. There was a base open, and they still pitched to him, and they paid for it. Moondrops Beauty said they just aren't intimidated at all by anyone. Totally agree. 100% agree. They're tough as nails, man. I love it.
Yes, I agree. Christian Moore should have never gotten anything to swing at, but some of that is fear of Blake Burke. Like, they're sitting there going, we can't put this guy on because the one on deck could end our weekend. So some of that is genius move by Tony V to hit them 1-2, because you can't avoid them. You can't pitch around them. You got to throw them strikes, and they'll hurt you.
Yeah, it's a great point. Big Orange Vol said this team really can win it all. They got the swagger to them. Yeah, they can, especially if Sunday pitching, keeps holding up.
I think if we learn nothing else this weekend, we learn that stadium really doesn't matter. And for those of you who watched the College World Series, Omaha's a pretty deep park. Like, it's not.
Oh yeah.
It's not an easy place to hit home runs. And the fact that we hit 10 in Kentucky this weekend means we can hit 10 anywhere. And
Absolutely.
that speaks highly to what happens when we get to Omaha.
Brant said Kirby has delivered more than I expected this year. Let's see.
He's been awesome. They left him in a little too long today, but he's been awesome.
Big Orange Vol said Kentucky's ballpark is like a mini Wrigley Field. That's how they revamped it. I get that with the fence on the top of the wall. I get that. Let's see. Caleb Longcare said we're going to be super dangerous in the postseason and offense will carry us through. Now I love what JL just said because I'm gonna prove his point here. So JL said, can't believe this weekend wasn't televised nationally. It's a great point. Last weekend we had LSU Tennessee televised nationally. This weekend wasn't. And the question would be why in the world? Because let me tell you what's coming up this next weekend. So they play Western Carolina on Tuesday. Actually, baseball and softball play Tuesday night, both of them at 6:00. Both of them on SEC Network Plus, both in Knoxville. And so if you're in Knoxville on Tuesday, you got a lot of stuff to pick from there. Softball plays Belmont. Tennessee baseball plays Western Carolina. But to JL's point here, this upcoming weekend series is against Missouri. Now, of the two, you would think number 4 versus number 3 in the country would be the one that gets televised. Nope. Friday night and Sunday are both on SEC Network. Only Saturday is SEC Network Plus. When you look at the next weekend, you got Florida. Only Friday is televised, ESPN2. Saturday and Sunday are SEC Network Plus. When you look at Vanderbilt the following weekend, Saturday, Sunday, you've got SEC Network on Saturday, ESPN2 on Sunday, with the Friday night game, SEC Network Plus. And then to finish out the season with South Carolina coming to Knoxville, none of them are televised nationally. It's all SEC Network Plus. So what that tells me, the fact that they've already got all these scheduled out for the rest of the year, that means that essentially TV companies were having to hedge their bets and try to guess which games would be, the best games to televise. And they didn't expect Kentucky to be this good when they had to pick which games they wanted. And that's why this weekend wasn't televised. If I had to guess, that would be my guess. But softball is going to be televised next weekend too. They got Alabama at Alabama. So that's going to be a huge series. And they've got Friday night on SEC Network Plus, but then Saturday and Sunday are on ESPN2. So that's going to be a huge softball series next weekend.
In the TV channel's defense, though, it would be really hard to schedule the SEC this year. I mean, number 1, 2, 3, and 4 in the country are SEC schools, and there's 8 of them in the top 25. So literally every single weekend, you've got multiple top 25 matchups in the SEC, and it's got to be hard for them to figure out how can we make this equitable and make sure that we show the best teams as much as possible and not slight anybody. And that's got to be really tough.
Absolutely. So here's their upcoming schedule. They got Western Carolina Tuesday night 6:00 SEC Network Plus. Friday night 7:30. That's on SEC Network, so it's going to be a late game Friday night.
And honestly, I'm kind of surprised by that one. Like, I would not have guessed that would be on the main channel.
Saturday will be SEC Network Plus. It's a 6:30 start time, and then Sunday 12 noon. Let's see. Did I say that right?
Yeah, 2 out of 3 are nationally televised, which really surprises me.
This isn't Friday, Saturday, Sunday. This is Thursday, Friday, Saturday.
Yeah, we've got the off week this week.
Interesting. Well, no, I mean, they play Tuesday. They play Tuesday against Western Carolina.
Right. But every SEC school has to have one weekend series that's a Thursday, Friday, Saturday.
So that means that Thursday night at 7:30, They'll be on SEC Network. That makes sense why that one's going to be on SEC Network then, because
Yeah.
there's nothing else happening.
But I'm
They
really
have
surprised. I'm really surprised that game 3 is. That's weird.
12 o'clock noon. I guess that's why, because it was so early in the day.
But I'm, I'm curious to see what the rest of the conference schedule is Saturday.
So since we're talking about Thursday, this is a good time to mention this. So Thursday night, Rustin and I won't be live because we're pre-recording an episode Thursday morning with Mr. Bill Dance. We are super pumped. I'm so excited. Like, we have the legend Bill Dance joining us on our show Thursday morning. We're going to record it. We're going to release it Thursday afternoon, early evening. And so I'm super excited about that. We're going to get to hear the origin story of his famous Tennessee hat. It's going to be really, really cool. So you won't want to miss that. That's going to be on Thursday. We got the man, the myth, the legend, Bill Dance joining us. So that's going to be super cool. Papa J said Bill Dance is the man. Grew up watching him. Absolutely. So we're really excited to have him.
So here's why the Missouri game got on SEC Network. Florida, Arkansas is the only other SEC game at that time, and they put it on ESPN2.
Yep, that makes sense. Absolutely. Bobby asked, when do we get AJ back? I'm assuming AJ Russell. Unfortunately, I have no idea. I don't know.
I think the longer that goes on, the more you can probably figure he's getting a medical red shirt. The fact that we have not heard, I saw that question pop up, so I looked to see what the last update was. We haven't heard about him in almost a month. Like, the last time they gave a medical update on him was March 23rd. That's usually a bad sign. Like, they haven't talked about rehab. They haven't talked about, getting a spot inning here or there to get back in shape. I would say best case scenario, we're not going to get him back this upcoming weekend. The last 3 weekends, if we could get him 1 or 2 innings out of the bullpen and get him as a some kind of reliever or even a closer for the postseason, that would be a huge plus. But I would not expect anything more than that, and I also would not be surprised if we find out that he's done. Because it's been a long time with absolutely no communication about him.
If they can get him back for the regionals and super regionals, that would be huge. I mean, just absolutely huge. Let's see. Moondrops Beauty said they are proving all the critics wrong with the homers this weekend. Totally agree. I'll readily admit I didn't think they'd hit that many this weekend, but buddy, they sure did. It was awesome. Hitting Dinger said, I love this show. I always learn so much. Thank you so much, Mino. Like, we appreciate that. Thank you very, very much. Hitting Dingers. That's what I'm talking about. Let's see. Big Orange Vols said, we will get to host at home all through the playoffs, won't we?
Should.
I mean, if they continue doing what they're doing, absolutely. As long as you are one of the top 8 seeds in the tournament, then you will host a super regional. And so, right now we're number 4 right now. Moondrop Speedy said number 3 versus number 4 not being televised nationally is insane. I totally agree. Caleb Blonker said, do you think Tennessee will jump Kentucky in the rankings? Yes, I think they will.
Absolutely.
They better. So, I mean, Tennessee's moving up to at least number 3. So as long as they can finish out this season and not drop below 8, then they will host a super regional. Let's see. Big Orange Ball said we had to do it to them wearing our beautiful orange uniforms in back-to-back games. Yeah, I wondered if they stuck with the orange because they won in it on Saturday. I wonder if there's a little superstition there. Not maybe not superstition, just a little stitious. Let's see. Moondrop Speedy said prediction time. I know it's early, but how many teams does the SEC get in Omaha this year? It's a great question. It really all just depends on how the super regionals line up.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, I'll be honest with you. It was either last year or the year before that. I mean, I was sitting there thinking, like, goodness, they could end up with 6 or 7 of the 8 teams in Omaha. But the way the super regionals played out, 2 of those teams or 4 of those teams had to play each other. And so they ended up with less than what they could have. So it really just all depends on how those super regionals play out. The way it's set up right now, let's say that let's say nothing changes and the top 8 teams right now are, which this won't happen, it'll change, but if the top 8 teams right now end up being the top 8 teams come super regional time, then you've got 1 through 4 as SEC teams. Well, that means that all 4 of those teams will be in different super regionals, so they all 4 will not have to play each other to get to Omaha. That's really good setup for at least 4 teams getting there. So, I mean, I think 4 is a safe number.
Yeah.
Definitely at least 3. Definitely.
Yeah. I was going to say at least 3. And if the brackets align well, maybe 4.
Big Orange Ball, he said probably 3. Moondross Beauty says, I bet Tennessee stays number 4. Well, if they do, then that means somebody leapfrogged them and Kentucky, because surely they're going to get above Kentucky. Let's see. Brant said they're done for the year with Friday through Sunday, according to John Wilkerson. Oh, wow. Let's look. Yeah, Florida's Thursday through Saturday. Vanderbilt's Friday through Sunday, and South Carolina's Thursday through Saturday. So 3 of their next 4 series are Thursday through Saturday, and one is, the Vanderbilt one is Friday through Sunday. Let's see. Brant said the announcers today said the rankings wouldn't change. Well, the announcers today also went home to their Kentucky-clad man caves at their houses. So I wouldn't take their word for it, for sure.
Yeah. Arkansas and Texas A&M both won their series. So neither swept, which was interesting. Alabama got one and South Carolina got one. But they both won their series, so they'll stay 1 and 2, and Tennessee should move up to number 3.
Big Orange Vol said we're going to obliterate Missouri. I sense a sweep. I think that's fair because they know what happened last year. They went first SEC series of the season up to Missouri last year, and Tennessee got swept. Well, I assure you that's still on their minds. So I think you might see a whole lot of offense this weekend.
Yeah, their Saturday starter is really good. Or I guess their game 2 starter, whatever you want to call him. As a team, they're not very good. They're 18 and 23. They're 6 and 12 in the conference. But if you look through their schedule, game 2 of every weekend, that guy typically throws really well. He beat Kentucky 2-1. He beat LSU. He kept a minute against Georgia. Should have won that one. He beat Florida. Their number 2 starter, and in college baseball, you don't really know who typically your best pitcher is your Saturday starter. So that guy that Drew Beam is going to face on this week on Friday, he's pretty good.
Brant said Tony talked about AJ Russell this week. He's just doing long toss. Gotcha.
That's not good. That's not good. If that's code for those of you who don't know pitching, if he's just doing long toss, that means they're just trying to strengthen his arm. If he's not throwing any kind of flat ground bullpens yet, that means he's a solid 2 weeks out before ever getting on a mound. That's actually not a good update.
Let's see. Moondrow Speedy said Marcus Phillips was clutch at the end of the day. He was fired up. I totally agree. When he hit 97, I was like, woo. He was bringing it. I totally agree. That was a good spot, performance for him. Big Orange Vol said we should have hosted the Supers last year. Agreed. They met all the requirements, and they should have been the ones hosting it. Totally agree with you. Caleb Longcare said this Tennessee team is Pat Summitt on the baseball field. There probably won't be a team like this again. It'll be sad to see them graduate. I don't know, man. That's a great question. Everybody said that about the 2022 team, and then look at what we got going on this year. I mean, I don't know if we'll ever see a hitting lineup as deep as this again. That's for sure.
But don't forget, we just signed the current freshmen are the number 1 recruiting class in America. And they're all just sitting in that dugout for the most part, waiting their turn. And I'm gonna tell you right now,
Absolutely.
there's some studs in there. So don't don't want, like, let's talk about next year. You're probably gonna see I don't know. You're probably gonna see Dalton Bargo at first. You're gonna see Cannon Peebles behind the plate. You're gonna see maybe Camden Bates at second, maybe somebody else. Could see Hunter High at third. If Hunter High comes along and is starting third baseman, then you've got the luxury of Dean Curley at short and Ariel Antigua at second. Now you got a bunch of power bats in the lineup. In the outfield, Kavaris Tears will be back. Dylan Drouling will be back. Reese Chapman will be back. There's your starting 3 outfielders right there. This lineup actually next year could be pretty potent.
Yeah. Big Orange Vol said, looks like Lindsey Nelson's going to be putting those new seats to good use. That play will be lit during the playoffs. I agree. No doubt about it. He said we already broke attendance records this year. Yes, we did. That's right. Let's see.
We helped Kentucky break theirs this weekend.
Yeah. Sam said, did you see where the Vanderbilt pitcher got tossed for a foreign substance on his arm? Yes, he did. Guess those guys are cheating more than bat stickers with no glue. Yeah, and then Vanderbilt, I don't know what in the world they were doing with this, but Vanderbilt's official Twitter account tweeted out a photo of their pitcher today that got thrown out saying, like, we stand with you, number 13 or whatever his number was. I'm like, are you kidding me? The dude got tossed for having an illegal substance on his arm, and you're saying you stand with it? Like, what are you doing? Yeah, that was bizarre. I couldn't believe they did that. But yeah, I saw where he got thrown out. Brant said, should we worry about Nate Snead? He's looked shaky recently. I don't think so. I think he's going to be okay.
He should have gotten the win Friday night. If Billy Amick doesn't kick a routine ground ball and give up 2 errors, we win that game. I'm telling you, Nate Snead would have gotten out of that jam. He would have come out the next inning, guns blazing. All the momentum would have been in our direction. I'm telling you, if Billy Amick doesn't kick that ball at third, we sweep.
JL said Amick was rough this weekend. Yeah, he had kind of a rough weekend. It wasn't his best outing for sure.
At times, he also made some pretty spectacular plays. That double play he made where he fielded the ball off the back of the bag, stepped on the bag, used the turf to his benefit, and threw a 1-hop to Blake Burke, and Blake Burke made the stretch of the year. I mean, he made some plays. He made some errors, but he made some plays too.
Herb, welcome, Herb. Good to have you, buddy. He said their recruiting class next year is number 2 or 3. Yep, they're having another really good year on the recruiting trail for sure. Big Orange Vol said, I think Tennessee baseball is going to be winning a lot for a long time as long as Vitello is there.
Yep.
100% agree. And Evan Russell would agree with you too, based on what he said on Thursday.
Yep.
If you haven't yet seen it, so we have 506 people watching right now. If you haven't yet seen it, Evan Russell joined our show this past Thursday night, and I think it was one of my favorite episodes we've ever done. It was absolutely incredible. I've got a couple more videos that I'm going to put out over the next couple days from that episode. It was fantastic. So I would strongly recommend going back and watching it. It was really, really good. And one thing we did, and so this, everybody who's watching right now, 510 people watching right now, when Evan Russell joined us Thursday night, just in case you aren't aware, Evan Russell has started an NIL partnership with Tennessee baseball specifically. It's called the Loyalty Program. And so what we did Thursday night, 100% of the super chats that were donated on Thursday night went straight to the Loyalty Program, which goes directly to Tennessee baseball players. Because as we all know, baseball does not have as many scholarships as football and that kind of stuff. Of course they don't. I mean, that's 85 people in football, but baseball only has 11.7. So on a roster of what, 35? 11.7 doesn't cover everybody. And so you got to get real creative with that stuff. And so 100% of the super chats on Thursday night went to the Loyalty Program that goes straight to Tennessee baseball players. Now, just so you know, you can still give to that if you would like to. If you go back to our video from Thursday night, it's got Evan Russell on the thumbnail with Paco the rally squirrel on his shoulder. If you go to that episode, you can click on super thanks, and it's the exact same thing as a super chat. It will give money, to, well, it'll come to our channel, but we're giving 100% of that to the loyalty program to help NIL efforts with Tennessee baseball. So anything donated to that video, that's what's going to happen. And later this year, after the regionals, before the super regionals, we're going to have Evan back on the show, and Evan Russell's going to join us again, and we're going to do the same thing and give to the loyalty program again. So just wanted to let everybody know that we got 33 people watching, 35 watching now. So if you want to do that, that's where you can do that. Hit and Dinger said, do we know what that foreign substance was on the Vanderbilt pitcher's arm? I don't know. My guess would be Vaseline because it's clear, but I don't know.
Probably.
They didn't say. Caleb Longcare said, I know how much Rustin hates John Adams. He posted his top 3 worst coaches, and I hate him too. I'll laugh at his posts. Let's see. Hit and Dinger said, she agreed with Big Orange Vol. Brant said, Blake Burke on that bunt. Holy cow. He can do it all, Kenny. He can do it all. Let's see. Big Orange Vol said, Old Tennessee, Tony getting her done for Vol Nation. Yeah, recruiting trail burning up. Absolutely. JL said Burns should have stayed. I agree. I agree totally. But if it was going to be a cancer in the locker room, then maybe you don't want him to stay. We just don't know. I know he had the respect of his teammates based on what Evan Russell said Thursday night.
I thought
his ability.
Yeah, I thought Evan's perspective on that was really interesting, and especially the issue of the advisors. I think if Chase Burns had the same advisor for his entire time at Tennessee, he never would have left. But he was jumping back and forth between advisors, and at this level, that's never good.
Let's see. Hinton Dinger said, y'all hit that like button. I love that idea. That's a fantastic idea. I really appreciate that, actually. We would love it if you like this video. Hey, if you want to subscribe to us, that'd be awesome. Thursday night, we're going to release it. So normally we're live Sundays and Thursdays at 9:00. If you're new to us, every Sunday and Thursday we're live at 9. This particular Thursday, we will not be live at 9 because Tennessee's going to be playing during that time. And also Thursday morning, we're pre-recording an episode with the one and only legendary Bill Dance, professional bass fisherman Bill Dance. We're super excited to have him on the show. It's like the biggest guest in the, besides Dolly Parton, who else in Tennessee could you have that's more well-known than Bill Dance? So we're super excited to have Bill join us, and we will release that episode Thursday late afternoon, early evening before the game starts Thursday night. So be a little treat for everybody to watch for that game. Herb said, nice to have some baseball recap show. Thanks, guys. We appreciate that. Absolutely. We'll be doing it all the way through the end of the season, hopefully in Omaha. Hopefully we'll be in Omaha. But the baseball team for sure, hopefully will be in Omaha. Big Orange Vols said Lady Vols beat LSU today. They won the series 2-1. Yes, they did. Lady Vols won Friday night, lost yesterday, and then took the series today against LSU. Anytime you can beat LSU softball in a series, that's a good weekend. And so, Lady Vols tearing it up as well.
I think the best part about that was we saw Carlin Pickens really respond well after a really bad weekend last weekend. She threw great all weekend, got the save in one of the games, got the win in another. I think she was, let me tally it up real quick. She was 7.2 and 5. She was 13.2 innings and 12 strikeouts and only allowed 1 run. So, she had a great response because last weekend she was awful. So it was really good to see her come back and throw well this weekend.
I think Moondrop's Beauty just hit the nail on the head right here, especially based off of what Evan said Thursday night. She said, I think Chase Burns' advisor is definitely the last advisor, was firing up about his worth, etc. He started playing like he has something to prove. Yeah. And I agree with that, especially at the end of the season, especially at Southern Miss. Man, he was like, he was proving something, his worth. And I mean, it paid off for him monetarily. I think we could agree. Moondrops P said, "Go Lady Vols. Peyton Gottschall was amazing this weekend. Carlin Pickens too, absolutely." Hittinger said, "Wow, yeah." I mean, Lady Vols, you can't help but love watching how they play. It's fun to see them go out there. And the jerseys. It was today they were wearing the Summit blue jerseys. Man, those things are sharp. I like this shirt. Is almost Summit blue. I think it's more like a periwinkle. I don't know. Man, we're getting fancy on the Volbros. We got periwinkle shirts now. This isn't a Volbro shirt, but it could be, I guess. If you want one of those, we got some of those on the website too. Thevolbros.com.
Baseball and softball are now 67 and 15. I just love keeping that running tally. I think it's just incredible.
That's incredible. It is incredible. Absolutely. Stashman said Dolly is awesome. Plus, she's a Vols fan. Maybe we'll get Dolly on the show one time. I mean, hey, if we can get Bill Dance on this show, then we can get Dolly Barton on this show. I mean, that's two icons, right? Two Tennessee icons. So we're really excited. One of the things he's going to talk to us about is the origin of his Tennessee hat. It's a really cool story. I've gotten to hear it. And so I can't wait for you all to hear it as well. It's really, really cool. Let's see. Caleb Longcare said 2 weeks ago on the show when Kim was hired, Rustin mentioned Grinnell. Was he talking about David Arsenault Jr.?
Correct. Yep. Coach Arsenault was the creator of the Grinnell system. It's morphed a little bit. When he created it, he would actually play 15 guys, and they would come in 5 at a time, and there were designated shooters. And everybody else's job was to get the ball to the designated shooters and then screen for them as much as humanly possible until they could get an open three. It's morphed now to the concept of everybody's a shooter, and we want to get a three off in the first 10 seconds of the shot clock.
Moondrops Beauty said, "What do y'all think about the new Lady Vols commit?" So in case you hadn't heard, Moondrops Beauty, what she's mentioning, Lady Vols got a commit yesterday from a rising sophomore out of Syracuse. She was ACC all freshman team. She averaged 8.6 points a game, I think it was. Listen, anytime you can get a player like that, that's a good transfer, because not only is she talented, she's got 3 years ahead of her. She can still play. So that's a good pickup.
She's a stat box filler too. She, like you said, she averaged 8.5 points a game. She also averaged 7 rebounds a game. Started 26 games for Syracuse. All ACC or all Big East freshmen. No, all
ACC.
Yep. All ACC freshmen. But the most important stat, especially in Kim Caldwell's offense, she shot 46% from the field. So for a true freshman to shoot 46% from the field, she's going to have a lot more time in the gym. She's going to be in a system where she's going to get all the shots she wants. That's a really good pickup. Somebody mentioned earlier, I'll go back up and find it. 2 other names.
Commits.
Yeah. No, women's. So Kiki Irafin, she's going to UCLA. There's no way she's coming to Tennessee. That's a UCLA transfer through and through. Lucy Olson, though, is at Villanova, and that is one that Kim Caldwell has targeted, and we've got a shot there.
Moonjob Speedy said, "I saw them have another visitor from Tulsa this week. She was freshman of the year in her conference."
Yep.
I mean, hey, that's another 3 years ahead of her player. Obviously talented. Let her run up and down the court. That's what Kim's going to do. They're going to be running up and down the court non-stop is what they're going to be doing. Sam Hargrave, welcome, Sam. He said Christian Moore, player of the week in the SEC. He deserves it. I mean, he certainly deserves it. Let's see. So at the beginning of the show, Papa J said, after baseball's talk, what do you guys think about the additions of basketballs? So let's talk about those. There's been a couple. One is a transfer from Hofstra, Darlinstone Dubar. But I think my favorite name that he goes by is D-Stone Dubar. That's just awesome, man. Oh, man. If you call the dude D-Stone, that's pretty stout right there. And so the claim to fame on. I'm never calling him Darlin Stone from here on out. I'm calling him D Stone every time we ever talk about him. I'm making that a commitment to every person listening right now. So D Stone, the famous infographic, I guess you could say, about him came out shortly after the NCAA tournament ended, and he was listed as number 4 in the country on offensive efficiency for all of Division One. And so that's good. I mean, dude dropped like 30 something at Duke or something like that. I mean,
26.
he can play. Oh, 26. Okay, there you go.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he can play, man. So that's a great pickup. And then they also picked up a post player from Alabama, 6'9" post player from Alabama. And
so Dwayne Brown is a class of 25 kid. He's a bruiser. He's already 250 as a high school junior. Chose Tennessee over Alabama and Mississippi State, which that's a great get. But again, it's a class of 25, so hopefully that keeps.
yeah,
But you know, that's a long way out.
Yeah, Nate Oates and Bruce Pearl are going to be coming hard after him. Let's see. Moondrop Speed said, I watched a video of D Stone. I'm calling him D Stone, never calling him anything else. I watched a video of D Stone with Hofstra Media, and he's going to fit in great with this team. That's what I'm talking about. Brant, interesting question here, Brant. Oh, we just crossed over 600, 602. Hey, welcome, everybody. Brant said, any chance Waka comes back? Haven't heard any updates this weekend. Brant, you bring up an interesting point, dude. There were some rumblings. When he found out that Jonas was not returning, there were some rumblings. However, it doesn't change his family situation. And and according to him, that was the catalyst. So who knows? But there were some rumors. I think John Gruden was spotted at Calhoun's actually, and he was talking to Tobey at the dinner table there. So we'll see what happens. But there were some rumors that he's considering it.
I think the most interesting thing is that Felix Akpara hit the portal today. He's a sophomore at Ohio State, averaged 6.5 points, 6 rebounds, 2.5 blocks this year. His younger brother is here in Chattanooga. Mm-hmm. So, his
adoptive family is here in Chattanooga.
He was pretty heavy on Tennessee coming out of high school. That recruitment really came down to Tennessee and Ohio State. And at the moment that Tennessee needs a post player, he just randomly enters the portal after everybody thought he was for sure coming back to Ohio State. That makes me wonder. So yep. I don't think that was a coincidence. I don't think that timing's a coincidence. Especially 2 days after Rick Barnes made the comment that people are calling them wanting to be here. I don't think being an hour and 15 minutes from your family and your brother is a bad plan if you're looking for your last 2 years of college eligibility. He fits what Coach Barnes wants in a post player really, really well. So I would keep an eye on that one. I think Felix Akpara might be looking to move home.
We know his adoptive parents really, really well. I've known them for years. We actually walked right past his dad yesterday at Dollywood, or 2 days ago, Friday at Dollywood. So, I don't know. Maybe I might text him and just say, "Hey, what's going on?" and see what happens. I may send him a text. Let's see. Moondrop Speedy said, "I've heard the door for Tobey is open, but Rick said they're not waiting. He'll have to decide soon." That makes total sense. Sam said, I wonder if Coach Apple would allow the Herd kid from Rome, Georgia to play a little basketball. Well, at least when we play South Carolina or Mississippi State.
No.
Moondrop Speaking makes a really good point. I'm glad she said this. She said, did y'all hear Rick's response when asked about Jonas leaving? He was very blunt about the situation. You're right. I mean, he was straight up honest. Like, you got to respect that, right? Like how honest he was about it.
I loved it.
Yeah. And he was just like, listen, people want to come here. Like this is a destination program.
Well, I think she means the fact that before he said that, he said he told us everything was fine.
Oh yeah, well
I
too.
mean, he pretty publicly called out Jonas and said, if you're not going to be straight up with us, we don't want. I mean, you read between the lines. What he was saying is, if you're not going to be honest with us, we don't want you here. So he was pretty blunt. And I think what he's saying is true. I think there are a lot of guys who are looking at Dalton Knecht, looking at Jordan Gainey, and they're going, man, if I want to get better and I want to play in a big time program and be on a national stage and have the best of everything, that looks like a pretty attractive place to go.
Caleb said, "What is Coach Barnes' system again? Can't remember the name. Really, it's morphed into. I mean, it's always going to be defense first, but on offense, it's morphed to more of a 4-out 1-in kind of system."
Yeah, he used to run a lot of 3-out 2-in motion. He's definitely moved to more of a 4-out 1-in motion. A lot of baseline double screens. He loves the occasional horns action where he brings 2 post players up to the high post or a post player and a 4-man up to the high post. A lot of 4-out 1-in motion.
So I would strongly expect to see a little bit more movement in the portal over the next couple weeks because it's going to be closing soon. There'll be a lot of action going on. Let's see. Sam said 6'9", 300. He would not get pushed out of the low post. I agree with that, big guy. I totally agree. Absolutely, totally agree. Well, we really appreciate everybody joining us. We had 623 right now. This Thursday, be looking for this Thursday interview with Bill Dance. We're so excited. Professional bass fisherman Bill Dance. It's going to be awesome, man. I'm super excited about that. Volboro's moving on up, baby, moving on up. And so we're really excited to have Bill. If you haven't seen any of the videos we released recently since Thursday night was one of, I think Russ and I would both agree, one of our favorite shows we've ever had. It was so much fun. Evan Russell was fantastic to talk to. Some of the stuff he gave insight on was incredible. We released a video today. Hidden Dinger said 623. Absolutely. We're at 627 now. It just keeps going up. I love it. And so we released a clip today. It's only like 3 minutes long. And it's the actual story behind Evan switching to catcher his senior year. And it was incredible. Like Rustin and I both thought one thing had happened. I think maybe everybody in the country thought one thing had happened. And it was literally the exact opposite of who initiated his move from outfield to catcher. And it will really surprise you. That's why I put the surprising real story in the thumbnail. So if you haven't yet seen that, I'd strongly recommend taking that 3 minutes and go watch that. Later this week, we'll release the clip where he talked about Paco, the rally squirrel, and the origin story, and then how that whole thing ended with Paco. It was interesting, but that was good. He got to talk about what it was like catching Ben Joyce, and so hey, Moonjaw Speedy, thank you so much. You are very kind. She gave a $20 super chat. She said, "Good night, guys. Y'all are the best." We appreciate that so much. Thank you. We really do appreciate that. So I would strongly recommend going back and watching those videos with Evan. Like I said, we've released 3 clips since Thursday. I'm going to release at least 2 more, maybe 3 more leading into the interview with Bill Dance on this Thursday. So the next time we'll be live will be next Sunday. Was that the 28th? I think that's 28th.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Yeah, it's 28. This Thursday, we won't be live since the Tennessee baseball team be playing during our show. And also, we'll have that interview with Bill Dance that will be released late Thursday afternoon, early evening, probably around 4 or 5 o'clock. So be looking for that. You'll get to hear from the legend himself. We're super excited about it.
I just wanted to add one thing because you mentioned Evan again. For those who joined us late, all the proceeds, all the super chats that came in Thursday during that episode, we are donating to the Loyalty Collective, which is a NIL collective that Evan Russell runs for the Tennessee baseball program. And I love what he does with it because a lot of people don't remember Evan Russell was a walk-on. because baseball is restricted on scholarships. And, there were times when money was tight and it was hard. And he wanted badly to be a part of that program and found ways to make it happen. And so his collective specifically helps the guys who aren't getting a lot of scholarship money and helps meet their needs and, make sure that they're taken care of as well. So I love that that's what his collective is about. And if any of you watch that video, there's a way to do a thank you chat on there. And every dime that comes in from that video, we will donate to the Loyalty Collective to support Tennessee baseball.
Yep. So just like Rustin said, if you were to go back and see that video now, it was from this past Thursday night. The thumbnail has a picture of Evan with Paco the rally squirrel on his shoulder. That's that video. When you click on that video, if you click on Super Thanks, that's essentially a super chat just after the live stream has ended. And so when you click on that, anything donated to that video will go straight to Tennessee baseball players. I mean, that's the way it is. It's going to go to an NIL supporting Tennessee baseball players. And one thing Evan mentioned was, if by some chance you have a particular request of a baseball player, or it almost sounded like maybe it's like a cameo type deal. But if you have a request that you would like for them to maybe send you your friend to have a happy birthday note or something like that, he said he can work with them on that. You just reach out to him and let him know, that you had given the super chat or the super thanks for that video. And he said he can work that out. He can make that happen for you as part of that NIL deal. So that's really cool. So, I mean, this is your chance if you wanted to do, all 650 of you watching right now, if you wanted to get a Tennessee baseball player to wish you happy birthday or wish your buddy a happy birthday, reach out to Evan Russell. He can, through his NIL partnership with Tennessee baseball, he can get that done for you. And so, once again, that video from Thursday night, 100% of it's going to the Loyalty program, to the NIL baseball program. And that was really cool, the story behind the name as well. Caleb said, good night, y'all, from Bristol, Tennessee. Yeah, that's pretty cool right there. That's where Rustin went to college. Pretty cool. So good night, Caleb. I hope you have a great evening, buddy. To the 654 people watching right now, we appreciate you so much. 655 now. Be looking for our interview with Bill Dance coming out this Thursday. Super excited about that. Tennessee baseball, Tennessee softball, both win their series this weekend. Huge weekend for both of them. Major series wins. Papa J said, good night from North Georgia. We appreciate you, Papa J. Thank you, buddy, so much. We hope all of you have a wonderful, wonderful evening. And we look forward to seeing all of you live again next Sunday as we recap, hopefully a series win, if not a series sweep over Missouri for the Tennessee Vols. So we hope everybody has a great evening. And we look forward to seeing you soon. Good night, everybody. Go Vols, baby.